And I know you don't want to get into the politics, but you started with, I'm supporting this current administration, and there's some problems right now. And I'm glad you and I were
I'm not supporting the current administration. I'm saying that what they are doing has been impressive. Again, I don't do political support. I do analysis of what administrations are doing. And in this case, I think they are doing an impressive job. Now, should they communicate it better? Yeah, they sure should.
Four-star General David Petraeus, retired General David Petraeus, he showed up on Fox News, talked to Harris Faulkner, and they kind of got into it, a little bit of back and forth based off of the Russian invasion in Ukraine. But specifically, Harris Faulkner was trying to get David Petraeus to continue to push this narrative on Fox News that Joe Biden isn't up to the task, his administration isn't doing anything, they could be doing more, and others are actually doing even better. In this particular instance, they went through a lot of back and forth, so bear with me as we go through this, because first she wanted him to jump on the laziness factor. Biden isn't doing enough, especially since Boris Johnson over in England there visited Kyiv, and she's wondering what more could Biden do. Watch this part.
President Biden is being criticized for being in a bunker. We had just shown Nigel Farage, and others have said it too, that it looks like he's hiding out in this point. So what you're making is such a compelling truth and reason why he might be told, maybe it isn't his decision to go to Kyiv. What more can he be doing though? Because he's definitely on the back foot now, as they like to say. So maybe Biden doesn't go to Kyiv, but what more can we do?
Well, gosh, he just was in Brussels. He was just in Warsaw. He was just outside in other locations.
Did that make a difference?
Poland. It made a huge difference. That NATO meeting was called on such short notice for one reason. The US president said he was going to go to Brussels, and so all the rest of them came as well. And I actually think that no one was more critical of this administration than I was over the decision to withdraw from Afghanistan, the lack of real consultation with our NATO allies on it, and the way it was conducted. But in this case, I think you have to give credit to the administration and overall for leading the world in a number of the different ways here. And I think, again, I think that's only fair.
David Petraeus went on Fox News to talk about fairness. Not about Joe Biden, it's not gonna happen. Now, he was there to talk about some nonpartisan ways to analyze what's going on, and I think they were expecting him to go the other way. But he was given detailed information that would actually give you a reason to think about what's happening and where your opinions then stand. Again, that's not what Harris Faulkner was looking for. Watch this.
I'm pretty assured that they are working every possible angle to provide additional weapons, supplies, ammunition, and so forth to Ukraine, both from the United States, which has already sent thousands and thousands of Javelin anti-tank guided missiles and thousands of Stingers and so forth. And also in this particular story you're highlighting is very important. We need to be getting our Eastern European NATO allies to provide everything they have that could be provided to the Ukrainians that is compatible with what the Ukrainians use, which is mostly Eastern Bloc systems.
Right.
So again, we can't give them M1 Abrams tanks, but they can give. Czech Republic is giving T-72 tanks. Slovakia gave them the S-300 Eastern Bloc radar system. Now they're considering the artillery. That's what needs to be provided, and also the ammunition that goes with them.
Why wouldn't we do that?
We don't have those systems.
The sanctions are not working.
We don't have Eastern Bloc systems.
The sanctions are, and I heard you say that. I understand that, but you know you're going to have to backfill some of that.
In a section.
That's where we started getting a little bit testy, Francesca. There's more to this. It increased, and she tried to redirect, which we'll get to. But first, let me get your thoughts about this first disagreement that they were having about the details, which maybe is a little bit boring for people to watch. The reasons why we have certain kinds of weaponry that doesn't work for them because it's a different country, it's a different part of the world. And those details I didn't know until you sit down and listen to someone who does know.
Yeah, she doesn't want to hear that, obviously. And it's so easy to get Petraeus to criticize Biden. He even told you what the in was, which is talk about Afghanistan. Now, as a progressive, as someone who was against the war in Afghanistan, General Petraeus oversaw the quote unquote surge under Obama, a massive disaster, such a horrible, ill-conceived plot, to say nothing of his role in Iraq. But like, let's leave that aside. It's like, if Harris wants to get him on like beating Democrats, talk about Obama. Talk about Biden pulling out of Afghanistan. But on this, especially when she's like really trying to understand what he's saying and then come back with something, it's like, You're out of your league, honey. Like, no. This can't go in your direction.
Well, the direction was supposed to be bashing Biden, as we know. And then even though those facts and figures were actually given, she then still tried to redirect it back to poll numbers, because if it's not about the reality, we'll at least have to talk about uninformed Americans who just don't like him. Watch this part.
Look, the American people, I want to show you where the American people are right now. Let's put it up, because
Harris,
I think that's important.
I'm a military guy. I don't do domestic politics. Let me just explain to you what I'm seeing and what my understanding is.
General,
again,
with all due respect,
I don't do polls.
I just want to show,
helping you understand what you're seeing.
I do understand that, but I want to show you, because there's somehow a disconnect that's happening, and it's important. People trust you.
Now, that may be true, and
know.
I'll leave that to you all to highlight that.
Well, and I want you to see it. A new poll does show that more than half of people disapprove of the way that President Biden is handling Russia's investigation. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of this. What can we give them to shoot down Russian planes? Because that's what you're talking about, artillery for an S-300 system. What they're about to do to the people of Ukraine, they're going to need more. And maybe these other countries are closer.
So can I answer?
But you say we are so special.
Can I answer, Harris?
Yes, please.
Can I answer? Okay. What we have done, in fact, is work with Slovakia so that when Slovakia provided their S-300 air defense system, which ranges above the 10,000 feet that the Stinger missiles that we have already provided in very substantial numbers to Ukraine, which are knocking down hundreds of different fixed wing and rotary wing aircraft, that was backfilled by Patriots. That's how that happened.
More details, more facts that was not supposed to be relayed on Fox News. But lastly, what made Harris uncomfortable just again at the end was David sprinkling a little bit more praise about the way things are going. Again, it's not about the people there, it's about the way things are going and what we can do, the limitations and what we have done. Watch this last part.
Look, it's never going to be enough. I was never satisfied as a commander in the battlefield, again, under a Republican or a Democrat, that we had everything that we possibly needed. It's about a relative question. Are we doing what we can? And I think we are. I mean, we've also committed over something like $2 billion just in military assistance, and then much more in other terms, in terms of humanitarian and economic assistance and so forth. And of course, we're also really putting the screws to the Russian economy, the financial system, Putin's inner circle, and even the business community, which is leaving in droves, as have been some 250 to 300,000 Russians who are voting with their feet and leaving the country that they now see as an international pariah. So there's a lot going on, and I appreciate the opportunity to lay that out for you. Again,
absolutely.
I am non-partial. I don't support or vote or anything else, either party, but that's how I see that, Harrison.
That's how that worked out. I feel like this happened to her earlier before when there was the reporter, the straight correspondent that was reporting things happening in Ukraine, and she was on Harris Faulkner's show as well, and she's like, "That's not how it's going, though. I get that you're trying to push this line that they ask you to push, but I can't go outside of the normal facts that happen right in front of our face."
I mean, I think Petraeus honestly could have done a little bit better job if he knows who he's talking to, which is the Fox News audience that doesn't care about the height of the Stinger missile versus the Patriot missile, doesn't really know about that, doesn't know about previous deals. Just be like, Russia's kind of on its back heels. Russia's not doing good. They're doing all these horrible war crimes. And thanks to the United States, Ukraine is pretty well equipped right now. And like they're holding their own. Like that's all you need to say. Right? I mean, and to some degree that is true. We will see how this all shakes out. But like, again, this is the network. Jayar, a few weeks ago saying, what did Putin ever do to me?